Alright, with the preseason just wrapping up and the NBA regular season a few days away, I think it's time we discuss the vibes I'm feeling from each NBA team heading into the 2024-2025 season.
We are vibing!
Now, when I say vibes, I mean the feeling these teams give me when I look at their roster, look what's going on in their franchise, look the direction they're going in, what's the energy they're giving me. But before that, hey folks, it's Board Talk, aka the Supreme Opinion. If you like the video, hit the like button, leave a comment, share with your friends, all that good YouTube stuff, and enjoy. Alright, first off, when we're going off vibes, let's say the Denver Nuggets. The vibe they're giving me real first round exit vibes. Maybe second round if they can see the Lakers again. They hate them guys.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
With them having to discard Caldwell Pope and play the Russell Westbrook card, I believe that ended their championship contention.
Oh,
I wouldn't trust this guy with your money. He'll just lose it because he's a loser.
Adding rest to this roster and expecting to win is like me pushing a cow off a cliff and expecting to fly. I already know the result before it happened. Just failed. Next team, Dallas Mavericks. The vibe they're giving me, the girl that just broke up with her boyfriend and got some new highlights in her hair, tight.
Hey, what's cooking, good lord?
Same result. They might actually have taken a step back, and ultimately I do believe this team is still a conference finals contender, definitely not NBA finals contender. The way Clay's been playing, making Golden State look like some downright geniuses.
Oh yes, sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
And speaking of Golden State, the vibe they give me is that one kid that nobody wants to share their toys with.
Help me! Help me!
Like, I'm not a Golden State Warriors fan, but I do believe, like many others in their fan base, that they're one star away from winning a championship.
precious.
I don't know about winning, but from being a serious contender, yeah. Like, if that Paul George trade would have went through and they could have got him for Jonathan Kuminga and Moody or in Andrew Wiggins, I believe they would have been thoroughly at the top or near the top of the West, just behind OKC. Let's get to the Clippers. The vibe they give me is a team that has lost their heart, their spirit.
Fighting for my life! Y'all killing me with this!
Letting go of Paul George, a serious blow. I mean, I don't believe they were a championship contender with Kawhi's health, with Paul George, but they definitely aren't one without him. They just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something will stick.
No idea what I'm doing.
Speaking of teams that punted, let's go to their big brother, the Los Angeles Lakers. And the vibe they give me is they're the definition of pretenders. Like, if you look in a book, in a dictionary, you would get the Los Angeles Lakers. You have 2 top 10 players in the league, and your team is questionable whether your team is going to be in the play-in, or having 2 top 10 players in the past has been a guarantee of a top 4 seed. Speaks to how bad and poorly this roster is. Clear to almost everyone outside looking in that this is a rebuilding roster. Now, I don't have a transition for the next team, but the Houston Rockets. The vibes they give me is they're the 17-year-olds that don't know what they're going to do with their lives. Full of potential. And this team has no idea what it wants to be. Yes, it will be a competitive team, but it doesn't have an identity, true identity that really matches the talent on the roster. Now, speaking of teams that don't have an identity, the Utah Jazz. The vibe they give me, hey, why is Jazz game on the TV right now? Switch to something else.
Rather watch paint dry.
Yeah, very boring. With them just re-signing Larry Marketing, they solidified themselves as being an NBA purgatory. I don't foresee them doing anything of relevance for the next 7 to 8 years. The Portland Trailblazers, the vibe they give me, help, they don't know what to do. They're lost. They don't have a vision for this team. And to be frank, they're really the Washington Wizards of the Western Conference. Now, speaking of teams that make bad decisions, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The vibe they give me is the kid that shows up late to school just to avoid a bully. They punting on this season, punting on possibly the next couple of seasons to avoid teams like the Celtics, the Mavericks, the Nuggets. They don't believe they're good enough, so they're just going to wait for them in the slide. They're going to be fun to watch, but they're a completely unserious team. Now, speaking of unserious teams, the New Orleans Pelicans. The vibe they give me is Pizza party at work. Everyone knows the company's failing and is about to go under. Similar, the Pelicans. Everybody knows this team. This is not a playoff team. I'm looking at this roster's age and where they should be and where they've been projected to be when Zion was first drafted. This should have been the year they're making a push similar to the Mavs last year for a conference finals, maybe NBA finals appearance. With Zion at center, it poses problems not only for defensively when they don't have a true rim protector, but in the rebounding aspect as well. They will be hilariously out-rebounded every game until they get a real center on the roster. And I foresee them losing many games early in the season. The next thing we talk about, the Sacramento Kings. The vibe they give me is that shy kid no one pay attention to in school. And unlike any movie you've seen where the shy kid actually turns out to be the most interesting person, life is not like a movie. There's a reason nobody pays attention to this team. I believe this offense will take a step back this year. Losing shooting in the form of Harrison Barnes and picking up DeMar DeRozan might help them in the half-court offense, but it might also hinder them. Sabonis is already kind of a negative space. I know he's improved jump shooter, but I don't believe teams are respecting it as much as they should. And then you put another non-floor spacer with that. I know Harrison Barnes wasn't shooting the best, but he's shooting. He's a more willing shooter than a DeMar DeRozan from three to space that floor out. But shout out DeMar though for escaping the prison of incompetency that is the Chicago Bulls. And speaking of escaping, the Memphis Grizzlies. The vibe they give me is the dude that just got out. I know last year was very devastating with injuries. And I'll admit that I didn't watch this Grizzlies team at all before the jaw suspension and after the jaw injury. So this year should be very refreshing for fans like me who frankly stopped caring about this team halfway through the season. I believe they'll be fine, and they can make a push for a second round, third round appearance. The Phoenix Suns. The vibe they give me is very similar to the Nuggets first round exit vibes, and very similar to the Nuggets due to a former Wizard. Bradley Beal making $40 million to give you the production he gave you last year. I know he was hurt dealing with injuries, but the production he gave you, it was a bad decision trading for him. Looking back on it, easy, the worst decision now. To go opposite of that, a team that can make great decisions, the San Antonio Spurs. The vibes they give me, we're going to be a possible playoff contender this year. With them picking up Chris Paul, he knows how to get a guy a ball. And hopefully his teammates follow suit. And if they do, this is easily a 6-7 seed. With Devin Vassell, the way he looked last year. Wemby's constant improvement. Jeremy Sohan wasn't bad. They just had him playing out of position at the point guard. Harrison Barnes, I love that addition. And they quietly have one of the deepest benches with a Zach Collins, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, and Stephon Castle. And they even have Atlanta's pick, which could be a possible top 3 pick this year because they're going to be horrible. So they can compete this year while still having the benefits of if they were tanking. Perfect position. And as a Spurs fan, that might sound a little biased, but they really are in the perfect position. Speaking of teams that's in great positions, the OKC Thunder, by far the best team in the West right now. That kind of hurt for me to say, but they by far are the best team in the West. And the vibe they give me, championship contender.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
What they showed me last year with Shea's beautiful season, J-Dub taking the right steps, Chet looking amazing as a rookie. Now then they're adding a Hartenstein that fits one of the holes they had going into the playoffs with no backup big. And another weakness they had was Giddey, inability to shoot when they could play someone with Caruso, a way better catch and shoot than Josh Giddey. Almost perfect, close to perfect. And with that, leave a comment on the vibes your team gives you for this upcoming season. Now if you like the video, remember to hit the like button, subscribe. Have a blessed one.